Welcome to the story of the sower. This story is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verses 1 through 9 and 18 through 23. The lesson focus for grades 5 and 6 is God's Word works in unexpected ways. Jesus was a storyteller. He used stories called parables to teach. Parables often seem simple and concrete at first. In reality, they can be challenging to interpret, partly because our lives are different from life in Jesus' time and place. But this is also because parables aren't tidy. They're meant to make you think. They require patience and imagination to unlock meaning. This parable describes how God's Word spreads and multiplies. It is unusual because it comes with an explanation. Most of Jesus' parables do not. The story and the explanation parallel each other. 4 possible places for the seed to land relate to the 4 different outcomes. There are many factors that affect the crop: soil quality, weather, birds, and other plants. The reality this parable presents is this: sometimes, no matter what you do, the crop doesn't come in. Farming is risky. Jesus' original audience would have understood this message well. Much of Jesus' ministry centered on teaching. We are fortunate that so many of his parables survived and are included in our Bible. These teaching stories invite us in and encourage us in our faith. Jesus teaches us. God's Word is like a seed. It works in unexpected ways. The outcomes we might expect don't always occur. But notice that the sower sows the seed everywhere, flings the word with such abandon that it falls on the path, the rocky soil, and the thorns, in addition to the good soil. It is almost as if the point is the sowing, not just the growing. This parable is descriptive. It does not carry a moral or tell us how to be. Jesus is not calling us to be good seed or good soil or a good sower. It just describes with honesty and frankness the realities of God's Word in the world. Sometimes it bears fruit, and sometimes it doesn't. But the Word is extravagantly sprinkled throughout regardless. There's always a chance. That's how God does things, because God's Word works in unexpected ways. And we can respond in faithful ways by planting God's Word and being good soil for God's seed. Jesus was a great teacher who used parables to spread God's message. This parable of the sower shows us that God's Word works in unexpected ways. With all the negative influences they face, it's okay to be worried for your kids. But remember that you have an advantage. You have a personal relationship with them that gives you credibility, which they won't give to many of the negative influences. Use it. The pictures and facts in the leaflet won't always be used in your discussions or activities, but you should feel free to reference them whenever you'd like. If you have an extra moment, try asking your kids how this content ties into this week's lesson. You might be surprised at their insights. During the Sower, So What? Leaflet activity, kids will see the importance of agriculture in Bible times. But don't forget that agriculture is still important today. Get kids thinking about the importance of this parable in Bible times and today. In the Anyone with Ears leaflet activity, kids have the chance to get creative. If your class really likes these creative solution projects, consider expanding this activity. Provide kids with a number of supplies they can use to build an instrument that would work without electricity or any other sound equipment. Give them the opportunity to use their device to spread this story. When you are actively involved in an activity, your kids will be engaged too. Jump into the fun during this week's seed toss activity. With your high energy and enthusiasm, this game is sure to be a hit with your class. When God's word is nourished, it will grow. God's word works in unexpected ways.